This is Aaron Anderson. I want to show you my automation discovery template that I use at OneToGreat for new customers or new use cases that I'm starting to vet out for potential automation. So first thing, as I use Miro, I'm a very visual learner and a visual decision maker. And so I like to build process maps. And so I've created a template for myself that I've saved in my templates that I can reuse. So if we go to new board, you'll find that the template page will come up first, and I'll have the ability to go and choose for my one to grade template. So right down here in custom templates, you can set this up pretty easily from the Miro kind of homepage dashboard. And this is the one I use, the client, the one to grade designs. Ideally, I would love for this to be automated, but for now, I just have a template and it's good to go. Starting here, what I've done is I've organized it for myself into 5 steps. And so with the customer, after I do some kind of banter at the beginning and getting to know them a little bit, I'll then actually share my screen and walk them through these 5 steps. Ahead of the call, I'll definitely have updated the client name, have a general sense of the use case potentially at that point, and I'll have added their logo so it looks like it's kind of custom tailored branding. But what I'll do is I'll start with step number 1, and this is to identify who the key stakeholders are and what their challenges are. This is important for me when doing discovery because everything ultimately has to come to value, and any value needs to come from fixing a current problem or providing a solution to a challenge. And so I start by asking about the key stakeholders that are involved in this problem that they're identifying, whether it's finance, legal, executives, etc. And I even have kind of a list of kind of some of the common challenges that they have. So for finance, it could be like lack of visibility into, let's say, contractor spend, etc. You can kind of tweak these however you want. I usually delete these kind of gray boxes. I can have 3 of them, I can have 4 of them, and I can very quickly kind of copy and paste. And just like as the customer's talking, jot down what are the key kind of one-liners for the challenges that they're facing across these different teams related to this use case, related to this workflow. So all players, all stakeholders, and the challenge that they're facing within it. Sometimes you'll have multiple people that have the same challenge, and so I'll make sure those are aligned here. So once this is built out, usually take about like 5 minutes, and I'll even go back and keep updating this throughout the conversation. Then I get to step 2, which is to organize the tools. So I go through and we talk about what tools they're using today related to this workflow. I just have a couple of them in here. So I have the tool name in bold, and then I have kind of the purpose that they use that tool for: HubSpot, sales, Google Sheets. They use it for database for survey results with fill out for the survey collection, and then potentially any other tools that they use. This may like things that aren't really fully related to this particular workflow, but just a place to know what tools they want. So at this point, the customer has shared their challenges, they've shared the tools, and now we start building the current state process with them. This takes a little bit of practice to get used to doing this live with the customer. But I will actually come in here and I actually kind of go in here in front of them and I take this away and I say, okay, where's the starting point? How does this whole thing begin? It's in this tool and this team does XYZ action. And then I use in Miro, I really like just if you click L, it just draws the arrows. And so I essentially just start building kind of what they're doing. Sometimes I'll color code it. If it's like a severe process, I'll make it in red or something. And I build out their current state process with them. And this is where the majority of the conversation follows. So I'll kind of nail down exactly what their problems are. Throughout here, there'll be different ideas that we'll have. And so I'll just add in some sticky notes that say like potential like integration with like what these 2 tools, or like make sure XYZ. So I'll kind of just keep little sticky notes for me. And then after the call, that's when I'll take time and I'll actually consider and sit down, okay, what would be an ideal future state? So I actually don't solution, or I try not to solution or give kind of final answers on the first call, because I want to go back and really vet this out, potentially even create a proof of concept or 2 before I'm confident giving them the future state. But once I have the current state, it's pretty simple. I just need to copy exactly what I did in the current state, copy that, and then paste it down here into the future state. And then I start moving things around. I'm like, okay, now this one can be automated. So instead of let's make this one green. And now that green means that there's an integration in place in order to take time out of that. Or these three actions can all be consolidated down to one because of the integration that's in place. The last step is just a more simplified version. So this is more processed, like a tool. Someone does something in XYZ tool. This is just the kind of a more of the connection points. And so pretty simple. You have your different apps and the direction that data flows. So this app has this type of data that goes to here, which then goes to this app, and then it comes back for a backfeed to this app, and they're getting XYZ value. If I do need a couple other quick tips. So I have this kind of legend thing down here as part of this. So I have just a number of kind of tools, and I'll keep adding this probably periodically, but kind of the common tools that you see people want to integrate with. If it's not like a custom API, then this kind of like helps spark ideas. So if they say, oh, I'm using Typeform, okay, so you're using one of the forms, and is one of the forms connected to something like a document storage thing, or how is that related to project management? And so they'll be able to somewhat visualize the different tools and the ways that they're used. And then of course I can very quickly copy this and make it even more visually appealing. If I grab monday.com and throw it under here, it just looks a lot better. So I have kind of a visual aspect to it. So that's how I use Miro for visual discovery through this template that's reused. And I just create a Miro template and move it forward. Hope this helps.